G'day guys, Rukshan here with Avi for the Opposition podcast. But we're doing an emergency live stream today. We're listening in on the Moira Deeming versus John Pesutto verdict finding from the judge. So we'll just let that play out because we can't actually play the live stream from the judgment. So if you guys want to watch that, you can go to YouTube and tune in at the Federal Court of Australia and actually watch the live judgment. But we're just going to react to it after it's given, go through some of the findings that the judge is putting out, and get to some of your reactions as well on social media. So if you are just tuning in, Avi and me are just listening into the findings from the judge. We'll just skim through X while we're waiting for the judgments to come through, just see how people are reacting. So you're seeing some of the findings coming through just based on what people are saying. Someone's here saying that the judge has found defamation. Moira Deeming wins. Are you watching this, Avi, or just listening?
I hear anything. I'm missing the thing. So what's happening? She's
I'm just
actually
if you read the X comments, can you see the comments coming through?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they found defamation. So we'll find the exact full findings, but it looks like, yeah, Pesutto is cooked. John Pesutto. Someone's written here, Pesutto is cooked.
Judo.
I wish we could play the judgment for everyone to hear. So guys, just tune into YouTube, go to the Federal Court of Australia and listen in on the judgment. As you can see, guys, your comments are also coming through on stream. Thanks for joining in. We've got about 1,000 people here listening in. We thought it would be interesting today to actually stream this because a lot of the mainstream media is not covering this in this manner. I'll actually go to ABC and see if they're covering it. No, they're not interested. The ABC is not interested, and they spent a lot of time also adding to the defamation of Moira Deeming in my belief. So they're actually not interested whatsoever in covering the findings which are coming out. So I don't think Avi's speaking into the mic, guys. He's having his breakfast. He's being very lazy, so that's probably why you can't hear him too well. Huh?
Can you hear me?
We can't hear you that well.
You can't.
Not that well.
Well, that's your dodgy. Is that better?
That's better. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, so mate, it's your dodgy setup. There's nothing I can do about your dodgy setup. I'm gonna try listening.
So she's actually once. I'm just reading the comments here. So I'm going off the comments on X as we can't play the actual.
Are you not listening to the?
I'm not really listening. I'm just going off the comments on X. But someone here, Citizen Jane 3438, has says that Moira Deeming has won 300K in damages as well. So
wow.
And the judge found no evidence of Nazism, rejected all allegations. Collins must be sick in the gut. So Collins is actually the lawyer for Pesutto. This is quite embarrassing for the opposition leader of Victoria. I think he should resign. He should probably resign immediately. I can't even imagine them appealing this, to be completely honest.
Hey, you're not hearing the case, are you? Because I'm playing it in my ear. So
no, not if it's playing through your phone.
It's playing through my computer, but you're not hearing it, or you are hearing it?
We might be hearing it.
Oh shit. Anyways, it's done. I think it's done.
It's done. That's it. He's gone. That's it. Judgment is done.
I didn't even get a chance to log in.
You got to turn your mic up, Avi, so we can go through some of these comments and the reactions to this.
Now it's up. Now my mic is up. No.
Yeah, now it's up. Can everyone hear Avi Yemeni?
Yeah. Wild. It was so obvious. I better call the team and tell them to get the breaking story ready.
Yeah.
So guys, now you can watch how Rebel News operates live.
Everyone's still saying you're too quiet, Avi. So maybe you got to
too quiet.
You got to adjust something.
Setup. Did you hear she won? I believe she won 300K. We should get a breaking story up. Oh no, we're running. I'm calling you while we're on this emergency live stream. I just told them I'll let you. I'll show them how Rebel News works live. So she won, and I believe it's 300K, but that's just going off our comments. So I didn't even get a chance to log in for the thing. So I think just a breaking story. Yeah. All right, brother. Thanks. I don't know why I would be low. It's your setup, mate. It's your eCam.
No,
Up my
everyone's
volume on.
everyone's saying they can hear me perfectly clear. It's just you, Avi. So
Yeah,
what do
because
you
you're
what do you?
running me through your eCam. Put your interview guest thing up. Do I have to teach you how to run this thing?
That's on full, mate. That's on full.
I can see it coming in. I'm peaking on my one. I'm peaking. That's how loud I am.
Yeah, I think it's all right now. So if you guys are wondering what this is about, this is a case that was going on in Victoria, the state of Victoria in Australia, between the opposition leader, the Liberal Party leader of the opposition, John Pesutto, one of the former, I guess, members of his party. It's just weird everything that's happened. She's had to, I guess, be suspended or whatever and step down and go in as an independent Liberal because of this entire case where we've had the opposition leader, other members of the opposition in the leadership team, as well as multiple media outlets, multiple individuals online defaming Moira Deeming and a whole bunch of other women for going to a women's rights rally to protest against the encroachment of men into their spaces, and that's a legitimate fear that many women across the world have, with how the world is changing towards this kind of direction. So they're having a rally in relation to this. It was gate crashed by Nazis, neo-Nazis, so-called. It was gate crashed by trans rights activists and socialists and all types of individuals. And the women that day got the blame for the Nazis being there. And you had of course, this kind of things happens online in terms of people online, these kind of left-wing lunatics making these assertions just because women are rallying for their rights. But then you had the leader of the opposition, John Pesutto, also coming out and inferring, and in this case, the judges found defamation in this instance, that Moira Deeming is somehow connected to this and she is a Nazi. And that was, I believed, I truly believe at the time, it was devastating for anyone to be implicated in such a manner, but especially from the leader of your own party in that way. So that's what's led to this defamation case. It also involved people like Kelly J. Keane, if you know, the women's rights activist from the UK. So it had a lot of international coverage as well. And now we're seeing the judgments being handed down by the judge. So it does look like it's all in favor of Moira Deeming. We don't have the full judgment. Do you know if they released the full judgment at all?
They probably haven't. They wouldn't. That often takes a bit, but
Yeah.
she's definitely won it.
So I'm just going to read.
And I've got to say that
Yeah,
this is
go
going
for
to
it,
be
man.
the beginning of. Remember, there's Southwick, there's Crozier. Like, I feel like this is probably the first of a few.
Yeah.
They're testing the waters. They saw whether they're going to be able to win. Now that they've won, I imagine lawsuits are going to be coming for the others. They're going to
So
be.
what you're saying is, of course, John Pesutto was the main target of this particular defamation lawsuit, but based on this, Moira Deeming should go after Southwick and a few of the other leaders.
I think she likely will, and
Yeah.
they will all settle. But what that really means with regards to the Liberal Party in Victoria is you're suddenly going to see one by one the entire leadership off, done. I can't see them. They're not going to be able to move past this. The Liberal Party in Victoria is about to have the change that they so desperately need, and hopefully it's for the good. Hopefully some conservatives step in. Enough of these fake conservatives, these fake liberals that stand for nothing conservative. Hopefully there are some. Hopefully Moira Deeming steps up. Leader Moira. Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, she's been put through a lot.
Absolutely.
In the public sphere by her own party, and it took a judge in this instance. It took her to go to court to clear her name and stand up for herself as a woman, for the mere act of, as a woman in the Liberal Party, going to rally in support of women's rights, in supporting other constituents who are women. She had to go all the way to the court to fight against, really, let's forget about everyone else that was calling her names and abusing her, but her own party that didn't back her. And now, she's been vindicated by this judgment, it looks like. So it's insane that these things are happening in our state. We have so many other problems, of course, and the opposition under John Pesutto and the other leadership team spent so much time on this, vilifying this member of their own team. It's crazy. So what if I just read some of the comments coming through, Avi, on
Well,
Twitter and see
we've
how...
got here. I've got all the details here. So, Alston Liberal wins high-profile defamation case. She's been awarded $300,000 in damages. And just keep in mind that does not include costs. So, I dare say that John Pesutto there's going to be another few $100,000 there in costs, plus his own costs, which were probably coming, $500,000-$600,000. This whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Let this be a lesson for fake, weak, gutless liberals. This whole ordeal to try and knock the bravest woman out of their party is going to cost John Pesutto about $1 million and his job. How delicious is this win?
I mean, look, if he doesn't step down and he says that he's going to appeal this, I mean, I would just really, it'll just be incredible.
He has to step down, even he's going to try play the game. He's going to try play the game that he's up in the polls at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think he's up in the polls. He's just running against Allen. In fact, I think John Pesutto is probably the only person that could lose against him. But he's going to try play that game, and he's going to say he's appealing it. There's no way. I think the Liberal Party in itself is going to be imploding. Those that want to take him down are going to seize this opportunity. He's going to be busy with his appeal. Southwick and probably Crozier is probably going to be busy
lawyering up a little bit more.
This is just so beautiful.
So yeah, I'm just going to read some of the Twitter commentary. Actually, let's see what how people are reacting on X. Congratulations, Moira. Damages $300K. Moira Deeming finally gets some justice. Vindication for Moira Deeming. Thank you for all you do for women and children. Deeming awarded $300K in defamation win over John Pesutto. Let's have a look at The Guardian. I don't think they would have enjoyed publishing this.
No, they struggled. That was a painful...
This would have been painful for the writer at the fake news Guardian to put this together. Let's see what they're saying. Moira Deeming wins defamation case against John Pesutto over neo-Nazi comments. Court finds Victorian Liberal leader defamed the then party room colleague when referring to a rally that was gate-crashed by far right. Victorian opposition leader John Pesutto defamed fellow Liberal MP Moira Deeming in comments made after neo-Nazis gate-crashed rally she helped organise, a federal court has found. Deeming had sued Pesutto for comments made in media release, a press conference and interviews in the days after the Let Women Speak rally on 18th March 2023, in which she argued a Liberal leader falsely portrayed her as a Nazi sympathiser. Pesutto has rejected the allegation. Justice David O'Callaghan handed down his judgment in the long-running case in the federal court on Thursday. The trial has deepened a rift between Victorian Liberal Party. Just complete nonsense. Let's see what the judgment was. The court heard how Pesutto had... Oh my God, where's the judgment? And she actually had a really good lawyer as well, Sue Chrysanthi.
Oh,
she was so good. I remember watching that with you, Avi, while we were
laughing.
By poolside. We were watching that, and it was just so entertaining.
In Bali, while we were enjoying our life.
That's right.
Our wives were not so much enjoying the fact
they weren't happy with us, but the way that she kind of dismantled...
But we've been vindicated, haven't we?
I think so, yeah. It was worth putting an effort and time into it, and the way that she kind of dismantled the whole, Pesutto's fake, this veneer that he was putting on about how he didn't really know. That he he didn't really do. That he did do research. Sorry, he was saying that he did do research into all of this, And it was so obvious that was the most crappiest research done before making these comments about Moira, and that there were so many instances there where he could have stopped and reflected on what he was about to say and do, yet he went ahead with it and defamed her. So, and that's what the judge essentially has found. It was so hard for the judge even during the trial. We watched that trial, even though we can't see the clips of it now, and that judge struggled with the nonsense that was coming out of Pesutto and Southwick and many of the other witnesses that the Pesutto side called in. So, you could see the judge's frustration. Sometimes the judge actually jumped in during the trial to ask Pesutto questions himself because he was like, how is this guy not understanding the things he's saying don't make sense? It's just so embarrassing. I'm also hearing that John Pesutto is going to have a press conference. So maybe we can
Yeah, the
jump
press
into that
conference
as
we
well.
can run live. Let's run that live.
Yeah, we can run that live. So if you wanted to read the judgment as well, guys, it is available now on the federal court website. You'll also find my affidavit in there as well. So I gave an affidavit on behalf of Moira Deeming. So I was actually there that day.
Wow, so you're really skewed. How can you be reporting on this when you have a conflict of
Well,
interest?
I gave it in my capacity as a witness and a reporter to the events because I wouldn't normally get involved. But the reason I did get involved because it was so obvious that they were lying. Like I was there live streaming the entire rally and the
I think we can
protest.
officially say John Pesutto is found to be a liar. But what's
Yeah,
news? That's hardly breaking news, is it? The Liberal Party is done.
you really think so?
I think his leadership is done. Whether he accepts it today or somebody's going to take it from him, and he's not going to be missed. Not
No, I don't think
one
so.
real conservative in this state. The only people that are going to miss him are the Labor Party. The only people that are going to miss that the three stooges, Pesutto, Southwick, and Crozier, is going to be the Labor Party. I saw them all this week at the no, Friday morning. So almost a week
At
ago.
the
So,
synagogue?
at the synagogue. Yeah, they were looking and they were trying to get attention. They're one-liners. They even, you know what? When I watch them even giving press conferences, I stood there for a second, but I didn't even run anything they said because they're so boring and predictable what they're going to say. And I'm just like, no one cares. No one cares. Like you're actually making me sympathize with Jacinta Allen. That's what you're doing. Just go away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you
I'm
mean.
still eating breakfast. Do I look like a pig?
That's good. I'm gonna have breakfast next time as well. We did the podcast, but this is actually this is unplanned. We just thought we'd do this because there's going to be very little media coverage that actually encompasses the views of the public around this as well, and some of the sentiments that you guys are having around this. So Kit, I'm just reading some X comments here. Kit has written ABC News clinging to the narrative that women speaking about themselves is anti-trans. They have painted themselves into a corner on this one. Pesutto's defenses, so this is more kind of legal context, honest opinion, public interest, common law, qualified privilege, and contextual truth were all rejected by Justice O'Callaghan. Someone's written, well, will you look at that? Women are not Nazis after all. Guilt by association is such a bummer, isn't it, John Pesutto? Merry Xmas to you and the Victorian Liberal leadership team. Enjoy your festive humble pie. I think this is one of the dangers as well with what, the Liberal Party were doing in this instance, going after Moira Deeming for attending that rally by terming her as a Nazi. Now we know all the left-wing typical Antifa type socialists and all these kind of people. They call everyone a Nazi, don't they? Arby? Like that's their go-to line.
That's their go-to line,
If
and the
if you don't
Liberals
agree
tried to
with them
pick
on
up on it.
if you don't agree with them on any issue, they will call you a Nazi. Now, obviously, some people cop that, and people who are involved in political commentary sometimes cop that. We cop that all the time just for having a different view that they don't like. You're all of a sudden a Nazi. It's their go-to line, or a white supremacist, and so on. But in the political game, I think it's a bit different because if your leader then steps up and says and confirms those mistruths and those inferences, which can't really be qualified by anything beyond you having a different opinion to these left-wing lunatics and trans rights activists in this instance, it puts you on thin ice as an individual, because how do you turn around and tell people within your own party or within the community, hey, the leader of my own team, the opposition leader, the what does he call himself, the premier in waiting, or the
No,
alternative
no, he
premier,
calls him
the alternative premier.
the alternative. He still does it. I saw him in the
Yeah, so
press
the
conference.
alternative douchebag. How can you explain to people that he actually is calling me a Nazi as well in the way that he's talking about me in the press? I mean, it makes it really hard. So she had to go through this process to get this outcome. So I think it's a great outcome, and it should actually, like you said, Southwick and all these other stuff, other people in that team should put some fear into them, but also to everyone else as
Are
well.
you
There's
watching? Are you watching to see when the
when is it?
when? I don't know.
That's just Albanese giving some money away, I guess.
Yeah, there was another anti-Semitic attack, so he's just throwing another few $1 million there because that's going to fix the problem. What?
No, I don't know when the press conference is. That'll be a very interesting press conference. I think we'll be online for another half an hour at least. So if the press conference
Yeah.
does come in, we'll show that. This is one of your supporters here, Avi, Vactatious Litigant. They're very interested in following all things
They
Avi
love
Yemeni.
me. Yeah.
So let's see what Vectatious Litigant has written. Justin, court has found that John Pesutto defamed Moira Deeming. Court has ordered him to pay Deeming 300K in damages. Deeming versus Pesutto.
This is so brilliant. I woke up this morning and I didn't realize it was going to be such a lovely day.
This is a funny meme. Being honest, no. Guilty of defamation, must pay 300K Pesutto. I mean, they were splashing this story all over the news during that time, right? When they were saying all these things about Moira.
They're running it now. It's picking up.
It's picking up. Oh, here we go. Listen to what the
Yeah.
Herald Sun has to say. This is from the Herald Sun. Opposition leader John Pesutto defamed exiled MP Moira Deeming. A federal court judge has ruled. Colleagues in Pesutto's camp said he wouldn't step down regardless of the verdict and would have a strong backing from the party room.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Do you think? Nah.
Let's see how that goes.
Several liberal.
How long there's
the knive's going to come out. Several liberal party sources said while no MPs were actively canvassing votes to challenge Mr. Pesutto's leadership, if Justice David O'Callaghan hands down a disastrous judgment, then colleagues might consider making moves. So they might. The names of Brad Batten and Sam Groth were repeatedly put forward as the most likely challengers. I mean, the actual Labour Party is going to hammer him on this every time they talk about him.
How can we trust you when the court found
Yeah,
you?
they're going to call him a liar. They're going to say that he made up things against women. Like even though the Labour Party at the time under Daniel Andrews, they're the ones that started it and went after Moira Deeming in the first place, and that's why John Pesutto was so scared
from
and he
them, it's to
caved.
be expected.
They're going to go after John Pesutto now and call him someone, all these names.
Although actually, technically, the Labour Party didn't start it. It was Pesutto saying in his defences that he was getting ahead of them because they were going to. Remember, he was saying that basically, he was worried about what Dan Andrews was going to do.
Yeah.
So it actually wasn't the Labour Party. This was the Liberal Party, like.
No, I'm saying the Daniel Andrews started the big smear. Like he had a whole whole episode after that. I remember he went out to the front of the government buildings here in Victoria, and he put up the trans flag the next day, and he was calling he was calling all the women that were there hateful, evil, and all these type of terms. And really, these women are just basically saying that they don't want men in their bathrooms, and that's a totally other discussion that we could have some other time. But
what do you reckon? She should sue Dan Andrews too.
I think she should be suing a lot of people. I think a lot of people should be put on notice. She could potentially. I mean, there's going to be still individuals online who are going to be defaming her. These trans rights activists, these left-wing lunatics. They won't get the hint. They're going to keep going because in their minds, it's very childish the way that they think and the way that they view the world. And they're going to keep going down this path. But I think a lot of people, especially media, anyone with any type of, doing political commentary, things like this, should be very careful now what they say about Moira Deeming when it comes to this,
You
because
know what's funny?
mm,
Did he say he said that he's going to appeal it no matter what, right?
yeah,
But
apparently,
anyone that has anything like if you've ever been in court in any of this stuff, defamation, like anything really, not even defamation, anything, you can talk tough and say you're going to appeal something, but if you haven't seen the judgment, there's no way you've been given the advice as to whether you have any grounds for appeal. There's no
yeah,
way he knows yet if he like if the court found if the court found ruled with her on every single thing, if he goes to appeal, even if he flips a judgment on a couple of the points, he's still going to lose. So there's no way for him to say that like, he can say it, but I don't know what the ruling is. I'm not, it's, we've got to read it. And I'm certainly not a lawyer, so I don't know if like they are arguable points that in which he ruled, but the hearing was so quick. The judgment was handed out so quick and so decisively. I dare say my prediction here is Pesutto doesn't have grounds to appeal. If he appeals, he's just going to be up for more costs.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
even if
yeah,
he does, it's just like politically, it's just embarrassing. Like
the
even if
whole
he
thing.
does now, even if he does, and he's like, okay, I'm going to double down and go after this, member of
Yeah,
my team again, go after this woman again for standing up for her rights. It doesn't look good because the basic judgment in this, the first one that's been handed out here by the federal court, it's going to stick with people. And we watched that, Avi, and I watched all of it throughout, and there was no inkling of any type of evidence or anything that supported John
he
Pesutto.
had nothing.
He had absolutely nothing. The only thing that they had, that they thought they had, was the women after the fact
The
having some
champagne.
champagne, and celebrating in their minds. They called it the champagne video, which was completely ridiculous. They were just kind of winding down and discussing the events of the day on a live stream. And that was what they thought was like the main thing that kind of made it even worse. And then they came up with so many lies about, she was meant to, say this and that. And we wanted her to put this statement out. And it was just so much political, nonsense in there that wasn't really valid to any of the things that happened at the rally, and anything that Moira Deeming herself had any control over. So, it'd be really interesting to hear now what Moira Deeming says. I think the press conference is apparently at 11:15 a.m. So we'll
It's
probably,
11:15.
yeah. So maybe we can pull that in and then finish up after the press conference. What do you think?
Listen, we have to enjoy every moment of this.
Yeah,
Relish the justice, end of year justice. This has been
this is
a
a
long
Christmas
time
present for all
coming.
Victorians.
Yeah, Christmas has come a few days early. What are we? The 12th. So 13 days early. You're welcome, guys. Thank you, Moira, for sticking through with this fight. And I know, like, this has been a tough gig for Moira. They've dragged her through the mud. Think about it. They defamed her, and on that basis, they kicked her out of the Liberal Party. How embarrassing that is as a conservative MP. And then they doubled down at each point instead of just accepting that they were lying about her. They were
Yeah.
lying about her because they wanted to get rid of her. And she was an absolute legend.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that they just really just didn't want to defend her positions on women's issues, and she's very vocal about that, and she's always been vocal about that. And I think John Pesutto, wanted her out of the way, really, and he just used this. He was very opportunistic, and he used this moment to kind of try to get rid of her. And he didn't anticipate, I think, Moira Deeming actually standing up for herself the way that she did. And I know personally from having talked to some of these women that were there and following them on X, and they would be very inspired by what Moira Deeming has done by standing up for herself. And I think that's what it takes. A lot of the times, you do have to stand up for yourself. It's very You can get overpowered by these type of institutions, by the media, by the political class. And in this instance, we've seen an example of someone that's actually said, no, I'm not going to accept this characterization of myself, especially, in terms of, what this means for my career, my friends, my family, everything that I am as a person, to be labeled by my leader as a Nazi for merely just talking about women's rights, and just because some men who were, themselves these, neo-Nazi type individuals that gate crash to get attention. I'm not going to be labeled because of them. I'm going to stand up for myself, and she's actually gone ahead and done that. So it's a great story when you look at it in that sense, and that's why John Pesutto looks so bad, because he's gone up against essentially someone that's on the right side of an issue where the truth is very obvious, and there's so much evidence which points to the truth as well. There's no ambiguity here, even though the judge had to make a decision about
Here we
this.
go. I'll read so the court found the following defamatory imputations were conveyed. So this is everything the court found. In respect to the media release, the imputation found that to be conveyed is that Ms. Deeming is unfit to belong to the Victorian Parliamentary Liberal Party because she knowingly associates with neo-Nazis. The court found that to be true, that they did defame her. In respect to the 3AW interview, the imputation found to be conveyed is that Mrs. Deeming associated with Nazis and is thus unfit to be a member of the Parliamentary Liberal Party. So again, that's the media release that because she associates with neo-Nazis, and again the 3AW. In respect to the ABC interview, the imputation found to be conveyed is that Mrs. Deeming knowingly associates, sympathizes with neo-Nazis and white supremacists, and is therefore unfit to be a member of the Parliamentary Liberal Party. Mate, there is no way he's going to be able to appeal this. It's every single one. In respect to the press conference, the imputation found to be conveyed is that Ms. Deeming participated in a rally, knowingly worked with Ms. Keane and other organisers to help promote their odious Nazi agenda and their white supremacist and ethno-fascist views. So, so that's also that press conference. So far we have the media release, the 3AW interview, the ABC interview, the press conference. All four so far found that he defamed her. In respect to the expulsion motion and dossier, the famous dossier, the imputations found to be conveyed that Ms. Deeming had so conducted on herself on 18th March in relation to public rally that it warranted her expulsion from the Victorian Parliamentary Liberal Party, and Ms. Deeming conducted activities in a manner that likely to bring discredit to the Victorian Parliament and Parliamentary Liberal Party by organising, promoting and attending a rally on the 18th of March 2023 pursuant to Section 10A(1) of the Defamation Act. The court has also found that Ms. Deeming has established that the publication of each of the 5 impugned impunged. Jesus, this is the risk of reading out loud when there's a word you can't pronounce. Impugned. Anyways, that's going to be clipped and embarrassing. Has caused or is likely to cause serious harm to her reputation. It's an imputation. I don't know what that word would be. Anyways, enjoy that one, lefties. Ms. Pesutto relied on the defense of A, public interest under Section 29A of the Defamation Act, B, honest opinion under Section 31 Defamation Act. So public interest means that he could have, even if he was lying, so even if he was technically defaming her, he's saying it's an issue of public interest, so it's irrelevant. You can kind of say whatever you want about it. Honest opinion. So if that falls, he was going for honest opinion under the Defamation Act, which means I don't know exactly what the requirements there are. Common law qualified privilege is C, and contextual truth. So those were his 4 defenses, and all he needed was I think one of them. Let's just see what it says. The court has found that the defenses of public interest, honest opinion, and common law qualified privilege fail, and the defense of contextual truth does not arise. Dude, the guy lost on everything. So basically, when you do defamation, when you're defending it, you have to run all different defenses in case one falls. That's normal. But it's crazy in the context of you have, you know, an MP, the boss of the Liberal Party, is saying stuff about it, and then his defense is in court. If you think about it, he's saying, "Look, it's under public interest, so it doesn't matter what I really said. Honestly, it's just my opinion as the leader, so it shouldn't matter. Common law, I don't know what the requirements, qualified privilege, I don't know what that really means. I'm not a lawyer. And contextual truth, I don't know what exactly the requirement, but either way, all four that he put. So all he needed was one of them to stand, and none of them did. The court has concluded that the appropriate award of damages to Ms. Deeming for non-economic loss. So that's pretty big, because that's even without economic loss. She was awarded $300,000 and has declined to make any award for aggravated damages. So she didn't get aggravated damages. The only order that will be made today upon the publication of these reasons is to adjourn the matter to a date to be fixed for the purpose of parties bringing in orders to give effect, published reason, and to deal with any argument as to the grant of any injunctive relief, and as to the calculation of interest and costs. Let me tell you right now, Rukshan Fernando, I am no lawyer, but I am a well-seasoned, what do you call it? Litigant. I guarantee you, if this Schmendrick tries to go to the appeals court, I'm telling you now, he's getting advice that no. That's why I'm telling, like, he's going to have to resign. Because the only way that he could justify not resigning is if there's any chance he's going to win.
Yeah.
That's where he's going to try it. So he would be filing for appeal.
So when you say if he's going to win, you're talking about him winning the appeal.
Appeal.
Okay.
Like if there's a chance that he would win the appeal, then he may try prolong it for the outcome of that, and he would use the fact that he's currently preferred premier.
Yeah.
Alternative premier. He is our preferred douchebag, liar, defamator. Anyways, so
can we call him a defamer of women now? When we refer to him,
women.
defamer of women,
being a defamer of women, or fake chopping board stories. I reckon real defaming of strong women is worse. So he's gonna end up having to resign, I reckon, because if he gets, so right now, as we speak before his press conference, his lawyers would just have to look at the, I wonder, do they need, no, I think they because I'm just trying to remember from experience. See, the way they do it is they look at, like, okay, so what did you win on, what did you lose on? And the things that you lost on, they have to look at the reasons, right? So they might not be able to give him actual, they may look at it now going, dude, you lost on everything, so I find it very hard that, because in itself, like, so I remember with the Dan Andrews one that I lost.
So you have experience losing here, so you're giving, like you said, a qualified opinion here.
A qualified opinion. I'm telling you, it's a painful moment. I'm telling you, I am relishing, I am enjoying the pain that John Pesutto is currently living through, and I understand it a little bit. So the lawyer just looks at it and goes, I remember our one when it first came out. He just goes, yeah, you've just lost on everything. So to be able to win an appeal means we've got to win back everything. So if you lose like 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3, you have something. But if you lose on everything, then it almost doesn't matter the reasons, because, okay, you might have reasons to appeal some of it, as in reasons for the judgment, giving you grounds to appeal some of it, but you're just not going to, when you lose everything, what does it matter? So you might win back some of it, but you're still going to lose the appeal, which means you're going to be up for the costs, again, your costs and her costs, and you're not going to be in any different position. And at the end of that, he's still going to have to resign, and it's only going to be closer to an election. And I think everybody in the party is going to know that. Like, he's done. He is so done. and I knew it. We knew it. We were sitting there. We spent our Bali holiday. We hardly get holidays. We got a freaking week. You and me sat there at the pool, and it was riveting. It was a riveting case. Maybe just for us because we loved watching him squirm, and every one of them squirm.
Yeah, I mean that was so entertaining. I wish it was almost like a courtroom drama that we could have had a show about, right? So that's kind of how I viewed that whole thing. Like, you could make it into a Netflix series in terms of the drama in there because there's so much deception and I would say, frankly, lies from the people that they brought on. They were really lying, I thought. And in this instance, at least, the judges found the arguments that Pesutto has made didn't actually, defend his positions whatsoever. And I think, like you said, he's lost very comprehensively, and it would be crazy now to appeal.
It's Daniel's sending me. Hold on, let's see what Daniel's sending me messages.
If you can keep an eye out, if Pesutto does a press conference or something like this, that'd be great. We
Yeah,
can just jump
I
onto that.
reckon we'll do this now. If he dares to try stay, we're going to start a campaign. We're going to start some sort of campaign. I reckon we start with a petition. Start with a petition. Think of good. We need good URLs for this petition, guys. Start thinking ahead of time. I can't, like I can't see him staying through this. But if he tries, we are going. Ruxan, what are you doing Christmas? That's right. We,
What are
we
we doing?
spent our holiday. We spent our holiday in the pool watching the case. We're going to spend Christmas to New Year's campaigning that Pesutto's gone. We can't
I'm
go into 2025 with
I'm down.
Pesutto.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I think he's going to find it very hard if he stays around. The Liberal Party, like members themselves, are going to be very unhappy. It's going to be
he's
discussed endlessly on all types of platforms. It's always going to be brought up, and it's always going to make him, be delegitimate. It's not like he's, defamed some random person on the street, right? He's defamed someone within his own party.
and
I'm
someone
saying I'm not saying
junior
that
and
it's
so
good that if he
and
defames some random,
someone junior.
someone
But
junior. Yeah, exactly. Someone that actually, if you listen to that actual case, that came to him for advice, sought his advice, someone that they knew had these positions about defending women's rights and women's issues. Knowing all of that, they still went ahead and tried to destroy her, really, in the public eye, and defamed her. And a lot of people used the weight that came with what John Pesutto said to very openly call her a Nazi and all types of other names online, especially on social media, and delegitimize everything that she was doing as a member of parliament for her constituents. So it was devastating, but I think now this redemption for her, not that it's of her own doing, but the way that she's going to come back from that, I think is going to be very
this is the
powerful.
start of her redemption. I think her redemption is still to come. I
Well, I
think
mean,
if the
normally
liberal
redemption is like if you've done something wrong and you're kind of building. She hasn't really done anything like that
she doesn't know.
herself. She's
Her comeback's going to
her
be
comeback. Yeah,
grand because I think what's if the Liberal Party have any sense in them, well, firstly they've got to take her back in. They've got to take her back in,
I mean, if they don't
and
take her back in now,
no,
and if
they're
they
gone.
suspended her, it looks like it doesn't match even the basic Liberal Party values. They're completely
Exactly.
ignoring like
This
the rule of law. Let's say looking at it from that level, and
he Southwick, Crozier, they all need to go. She needs to be back in, and there needs to be it'll be so satisfying if it ends up being some conservative group and she takes a position,
yeah,
an important role
we
in
could
it.
have a
That's where it should
revival
end.
of the Liberal Party in Victoria. Really, a proper Liberal Conservative Party that isn't
And
just Labor light.
and it just proves like the problem with the Liberal Party in Victoria is that they stand for nothing ever. They never stand for anything. They always take a Labor light position because they're so scared of their own shadow. And the reason why they kicked her out, the real reason as to why they kicked her out is because she was standing for real conservative values. She was standing for women, not men. Um, well, not men pretending to be women. she was sticking to her guns, and she was doing what any I reckon the average Aussie has respect for. No one has respect for John Pesutto. No one respects his gutless way of dealing with everything. Um, for that reason, he's always Labour light. Moira Deeming is going to walk out of this in the public's eye as somebody with conviction and who was right, who did nothing wrong. And John Pesutto is going to be exactly the opposite. A gutless coward whose defense was he preempted Dan Andrews, kicked out his own brave MP for that reason. That was his defense. I don't even really think it was that. I think, like you, I think it was all just an excuse.
I agree. Look at this. Look at this crap. This is the Age, right? I just saw someone comment on this. I can get your live commentary on this, Avi. So the Age has put up a story, about Moira Deeming winning. But look at the comments that their staffers are hiding at the Age. All right. If I go to hidden comments,
Oh yes, bring
let's
that
have a
up.
look at what the Age is hiding from the public. This is the stuff they don't want you to see because there are comments there. But let's see what they hid. View hidden replies. Justice has been served. The Age doesn't.
Wow,
The Age doesn't want you to see that. You beauty, Little
wow.
John is done. Hidden. The court got it right. Moira Deeming has been vindicated. John Pesutto should resign immediately. So too should David Southwick and Geordie Crozier. Hidden by the Age staff. This one, I guess you could argue, should be hidden.
Which one is it? What does it say?
I won't repeat these words because they'll be recorded.
But is it? Oh, but is it in support of her?
Nah, it's just a bit of a slur against Pesutto. Just
Yeah,
nothing too bad.
I reckon Rebel should write it up. Print
Yeah,
all
I mean,
their hidden comments.
they're fully hiding all these incredible Moira Deeming. Congratulations on a great and well justified win.
Daniel, I
Fantastic
think
news.
Daniel's watching. Daniel, I reckon Rebel gets up a story with all. Let's screenshot and publish all the hidden comments, maybe in an hour or so.
Yeah,
But let's
from all these
screenshot it now.
publications.
Maybe screenshot it now, so in case they they walk it back.
Why would you hide these comments? It makes no sense. I understand they've eventually turned the replies off, but why hide just basic comments congratulating her for winning? I'm sure they wouldn't hide that if John Pesutto won, for instance. It's so weird.
Where did you see that his press conference is at 11:15?
Her press conference.
Hey, his. Is
He's one I
hers?
don't know. He's he
Oh,
having
you're
one?
saying it's hers.
She's holding a
Oh,
press conference, and she had said that she was holding one. So I reckon we just that's in 10 minutes. We stream a little bit of that, and then we end our stream around 11:30 p.m. a.m. Sorry.
all right. So good.
Redeeming.
He's so done. I should have gone to the court today, actually.
I don't think Moira Deeming attended the court. She didn't
She is. She's
attend.
here.
She's at the court, is she?
Yeah.
Oh. Bit of F
Justice.
around and find out for the Deeming verdict. Yep. Pesutto is definitely finding out after effing around. Let women speak and stop smearing us. Yeah, it is also, I think, in the greater scheme of things, you can look at this as a somewhat of a victory for women being able to speak in Victoria. At least the judge citing in this instance, finding that those women were there for a legitimate purpose and not for the purpose as was inferred by many people in the media and by John Pesutto. And we saw, I guess, the dangers of the way, the rhetoric that these people use, right? When they went after Kelly J. Keane, especially in New Zealand, you saw how crazy New Zealand was, where they tried to mob her. I think if they got their hands on Kelly J that day, she would have been under some serious threat of having harm committed against her because they were
Got
rabid, those lunatics in New Zealand. And I think we are pretty much there, right there in Victoria. But we do have still some common sense here in the judicial system and the justice system for this judge to be able to actually see it for what it is, because he didn't really buy into any of this nonsense
Go
culture war
into
stuff they tried.
go to the trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff. They go to trending because it's trending now.
Where do I find trending?
They're,
Yeah.
they're on your right side, right.
Oh, here.
No, below. I think explore. It was explore. I think that's the trending. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Deeming. So there's some funny ones there. So you got go down a bit because I'm just looking at it on my phone. Go. There's some good stuff there. So
Oh, that's her arriving at court.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how.
Oh, this is before the thing.
Yeah, she was already smiling like she knew.
Do the lawyers kind of get an idea of the judgment before the judge hands it down, or
No,
no?
not at all. I'm just changing my shots for you. No, that's not good. Look, is that one good? Yeah, is that my side shot?
You know what? For these kind of streams, we've got to find a way for you to be able to share a screen as well,
Yeah, no,
and then
but
bring it
Shannon,
both in.
go up slightly. Oh no, because there's one I saw from Shannon, which I think is he the age of the Herald Sun?
Shannon Deary, I can go to him.
Deary, his one said something about like interesting. Where is it? I saw it before. Do you see his tweets?
Here, Judge on Pesutto, is that the one?
No, go down. What happens next? Like that's it. Like he's right about all that. But having said all that, I don't think any of that will save him. Remember, the political game is a brutal game. There are people in there that want Pesutto, Southwick, and Crazier's spots. That's like that's the most senior positions in the party in Victoria. That's like what you work towards getting. I just cannot see them surviving this. It's like anybody that, because think about it, like those that want their positions, those that don't like them are going to be right now running around trying to capture the numbers. Those that are on the fence are just, in this game, they're going to be placing their bets behind who they think is going to come out on top. And that's most of it. Like they're all rats. Like the whole political game is full of rats. Most politicians are just human rats, and they're just like looking for their moment to, or not even that. Like a lot of them are just in there, and they're just survival. And part of that survival is going to be, betting on the right horse.
Yeah.
There was another. What did I see? If you go back to the trending ones, I saw something else that was. Oh yeah, Tim Smith. Go to Tim Smith. It's a funny one. Go to Tim Smith.
The ex-Liberal.
Yeah, ex-Liberal. You see him? It's. If you need his handle, it's TCS 1983.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Go down. He's calling
John Pesutto to resign immediately.
Yeah, of course, but he's saying to Jeff Kennett. Yeah.
Hey Jeff Kennett, you and the other two paying John Pesutto damages. I'm sure Miss Kennett will be delighted with the invoice. Yeah, that's what we forgot, right? This was actually funded by people in the Liberal Party, these power brokers like Jeff Kennett, who actually went into bat for someone like John Pesutto, when to everyone else, like the common person, it was very obvious he had a very weak case, but they were full supporting him.
Yep. Oh, here, media statement. Moira Deeming just put up a statement.
All right, let's just pull that up.
Where is she going to do a press release? She said.
We can just read her statement. I guess I'll read it out. Media statement from Moira Deeming. I'm grateful to God for this outcome, to the court for its careful and prompt consideration of my case, and to my lawyers whose dedication, expertise, and integrity is unmatched. The judge found that I was defamed in 5 separate publications and that each of those also caused serious harm to my reputation. Every single one of Mr. Pesutto's defenses failed.
That's the truth. That's the point here. That's what I was saying to you. That's why it's going to be near impossible for him to appeal. Go on. Sorry.
This judgment is a
Sorry, man.
public acknowledgement that there was never any justification, legal, moral, or political, for what the opposition leader did to me and to my family. The
Yep.
organisers and attendees of the 2023 Melbourne Let Women Speak rally did nothing wrong, and it is shameful that they were treated without fairness or respect by so many in public office. Yeah, I think that's also an important point. She's actually mentioning
Yep.
the rest of the women there as well, because we did see John Pesutto have legal cases with 2 other women that were there, Angie Jones, who he defamed, Kelly J. Keane, who he defamed, he settled with them, and there's some questions around that as well. So she's sticking up for them as well in this statement. I will continue to fight for the rights of parents, women, and children, and I know I won't be alone. I'm pleased with this result and
I
relieved.
think she won't. She definitely won't be alone. And this whole ordeal is now going to rally many more people to her cause. And I think she's going to become super popular just from this. Sorry, I keep
Yeah, no,
interrupting it, but I think
I totally agree with that. I am pleased with the result and relieved to have been vindicated. It has been an incredible, tough 22 months for me and my family, but I can now start to move forward with the judgment today clearing my name. Thank you to everyone who stood by me and defended me despite personal and political differences and regardless of the cost. Friends, strangers, opponents, Liberal members, and colleagues. Thanks to everyone who prayed, wrote, donated, and told the truth. And finally, thank you to my family, especially my husband. I'm just gonna retweet that
I was
because
just doing that too.
yeah,
And like it has, like I seen her in that period. I've spoken to her in that time, and um, you know, even somebody that's been through the court system, it's stressful. And she did it because it had to be done. She did it because she believes in, I think she has integrity. She believes in what's true. And what mattered here is, they were painting everyone that was standing for the one issue that's most important to her. And and if they were going to let that slide, if they were going to allow people to do that, to destroy people, to destroy their character, their living, their job, they essentially cancelled her. And they picked this particular issue to do it because they thought, because this deluded Liberal Party in Victoria thought that it is the one issue that the public, like, there's going to be no opposition to. The public is going to be behind them. Where quite the opposite happened. And now, like I said a minute ago, so there is going to be so much more public support for Moira Deeming, for the issue. She was vindicated on the case, on the fact that she did nothing wrong, on the fact that her protest, it was that those Nazis gate crashed, had nothing to do with her. They were there for their own petty little thing with Antifa. To be honest, those two groups deserve each other. They're so similar. I've been to
yeah,
protests where you see those two groups. They dress the same. They speak the same. They both stand against Israel. Free Palestine. Literally, both of them said that to me at a protest, I think maybe a month after this whole ordeal. And they have nothing to do with Moira or the women. And now that that Moira has been vindicated, I think it gives a major leg up to her activism in that space, which is amazing because that's what it needed.
yeah,
You know what? Two things are true: men cannot become women, and women have the right to stand up and fight for their spaces. And the Liberal Party in Victoria are a pack of freaking liars.
yes, all those statements are true. And on that note, I think we can call an end to this emergency live stream broadcast. It was actually the first time doing this, Ivy, just reacting to live happening news like this spontaneously. So I think it's good. We can fix this format as well and do a few more of these and actually bring in a different style of news presentation. So tonight you have the opposition podcast. I won't be on that show tonight. I'm actually busy. So that's at 7 p.m. People can tune into the opposition podcast. You've got a guest on, I believe, a libertarian. Is that correct?
Yeah,
And you got
the Senate lead candidate, I think
candidate.
he is,
Yeah.
for the Libertarian Party. This has given us something extra interesting. We'll see how it plays out today, guys. The opposition.show. I'll see you on there tonight. Mazel tov to Moira Deeming. I texted her those words as soon as the news came out. This is a great day for justice.
100%. All right, guys. Thanks for joining in. Catch you.